your mind?
It was very reminiscent of what we saw in France, and that was what was terrifying.
So describe again for me, Emma, the scene. For people who were there on the street, what was it like?
It was, people enjoying themselves. It's a week or so until Christmas, and tourists are enjoying the Christmas lights. You're enjoying the sights of, trying so many different delicacies that are local, and all of a sudden your whole world is completely decimated because you're stood there and it's our first day here, and now we just don't know what to do. And I'm sure that this is not going to happen again tomorrow, but it's really frightening. And all of those people surrounding me, I'm sure, are going to be feeling exactly the same. That how did we end up here? How did this happen?
Absolutely frightening. For people who don't know Berlin very well, I mean, I've been to Berlin, but for people who are watching this who don't know Berlin, just describe to us the type of neighborhood, the type of area, this part of Berlin where this took place. Was it a part that was populated by tourists largely?
So this is my first ever day in Berlin. We arrived at lunchtime today, and this was my first outing in Berlin. So this was the first place that I've ever been to. The street that we're on is like Regent Street. There are designer shops, there are designer eateries, and we've just walked down to where the church is. And so this is a really popular place. I mean, when we were walking back, we passed some English tourists, and I recognised the accent, and they were walking towards the Christmas market, and I had to say, please don't go. We've just been there, and I would go home and call your families and tell them that you're safe. So people who weren't there are still worried.
So this is an area that is populated by tourists. You've told other tourists, not to go to that area. My producer Amira just telling me that we have a picture that you took of the scene. We want to show to our audience. So just explain what we're looking at here.
The picture is of the place where we bought our mulled wine from. So it was a wooden hut with a bar that was selling like food and drinks, and it was completely collapsed, and all of the stuff. They were all pulled out. So luckily they are all okay. But that picture is one I immediately took to kind of put and say, look, this is happening and this is terrifying.
So this is the wooden hut that the truck driver apparently crashed into or knocked over. Did you actually see, I'm not sure if you were able to count, obviously, but do you know roughly how many people would have been injured in this?
So when we were walking back through to get back to our hotel, we saw at least 10 people. There will have been